Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you today for a premiere video for December 7th. Hopefully you will enjoy this special video well, it's not a special video, it's just an album review for Atreyu's newest long-awaited studio album we've been waiting for since the beginning of the year, for The Beautiful Dark of Life. The album we've been highly anticipated for since about 2 months now. Technically, they announced this in late October going into November, and now here's the album. So I found out about this like right around the time Torch in the Dark came out, the EP, and yeah, we're gonna discuss about what I think of this album. So I'm gonna discuss what I listened to for all 15 songs, which 12 of the songs were singles, which I think was ridiculous. But basically, let's dive right into this album review, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. So it starts with Drowning. It was the song that came out at the very beginning of the year. I think like January 13th or something like that. I'm not sure, but somewhere around January. But honestly, this was a solid track. I do like Brandon's vocals. Mark's screaming vocals are pretty good in this, but my overall problem is the song rushes itself too fast. Um, it's fine for what it is, but I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't hate this track, I just am like, mm, it's good for what it is. So 4.5 out of 5 for the opening track, Drowning. Insomnia actually was a pretty good song. I was really surprised with this. Brandon's vocal sounded pretty good. I think when he sings the Insomnia lyric, it sounds really good. Um, with how he's singing it. I think majority of the track tries different experimentation with him kind of rapping and slightly singing the lyrics in a weird way. Yeah, it wasn't rapping, it was singing the lyrics in a weird way with how the track came off. It was like, the opening act to it is alright. But the rest of the track did perform alright, and I got used to how the melody was sounding. So 5 out of 5. Capital F is a decent song. I'm not crazy about it. When I rated it originally this year, I thought it was like average. I've kind of grown a liking to it a little bit, but I don't hate it. I just don't love it that much. So this is a 4 out of 5. So this is a decent song. It's tolerable of a listen, just not anything special. Then comes God slash Devil, and that was a decent one too. These two are gonna bring down the ratings for the album. So are the 4.5 out of 5 songs, some of them at least. But overall, I think basically God slash Devil is decent. So 4 out of 5. It didn't perform too well. It's just the intro to it is just sounds a little iffy with how it starts off with the electronics and the drum work and Brandon screaming and Mark screaming. I don't know, it sounds a little juvenile in a way, but it does okay for what it's trying to sound like, so 4 out of 5. Watch Me Burn has actually I've grown a liking to it. Do I like the verses? Not as much, but I think it's grown on me a bit after listening to the song for about 8 months at least. It just took a little time to grow on me. Keep in mind, they released 12 out of 15 songs for this album. Yeah, you get the picture. They've released 3/4 or almost the whole 80% of this album already. We only had this many songs to be excited for. 3 songs. That's not good. That's gonna ruin the hype. I wasn't really expecting to be too hyped up with this record because I've already heard majority of the songs. So Watch Me Burn's a 5 out of 5. Still enjoyed the track. It's grown. I've changed my rating throughout time. It just took a while for this song to grow on me. But it has. The chorus is pretty strong. Good Enough is my favorite track. Really like this track. It starts off pretty heavy with the drum work, and Brandon's vocals sold me for this song, meaning it was amazing with how it sounded. So this is a 5 out of 5. And just Mark screaming, and the verses are hit or miss, but the chorus is the best part of it. It sounds really good. 5 out of 5. Dancing with My Demons is solid. Not crazy for it, but it's alright for what it goes for. There's some moments where the drum work does alright, but it's just the way Brandon's singing it from time to time. I'm not connecting with it too much, so it's kind of a hit or miss track. So 4.5 out of 5. Don't hate the song, just don't love it. Gone is a pretty good track. Really like this song. It's grown on me throughout time, and just how Brandon's vocals sound in the chorus. Keep in mind, some of their lyricism is hit or miss, but overall, I think Atreyu tries to make it a pretty well done song, or at least tries to make an effort into trying to musically make their music sound good. And it kind of does to an extent. So this is a 5 out of 5. I Don't Want to Die is a solid track. It closes out the Moment You Find Your Flame EP. And keep in mind, majority of these tracks were on Hope of a Spark, The Moment You Find Your Flame, and then A Torch in the Dark. So basically, I Don't Want to Die is going to get a 4.5 out of 5. Immortal is a favorite of mine. I really enjoyed this track. I like Brandon's vocals in the chorus. It sounds really amazing. And just overall, musicality-wise, it sounds pretty good. So, this is a 5 out of 5. Parentheses I is a pretty strong track for what it went for. I really like the screaming vocals from Mark, and I like Brandon's vocals when he's singing it. And give me a second, guys. Gotta pause the video. Sorry, guys. Had to pause the video. My sister's cat wanted out of my room, Titan or whatever, so he just wanted out of my room. But yeah, I is getting a 5 out of 5. Really enjoyed this track, and it executed pretty well. Then comes Death or Glory featuring Sierra Deaton, and this was actually a pretty well done track. I mean, Sierra Deaton didn't do much in this song, just sang backing vocals with Brandon. And Brandon was taking over the whole track, but Sierra Deaton was in the background singing, and it sounded pretty good. But this track did execute pretty well, so this is a 5 out of 5. Forevermore has grown on me a lot more. I really like this track. It's really nice and mellow, and it sounds really well executed with Brandon's vocals. So, really digging this track, 5 out of 5. Then comes Come Down, which is a song about getting high and basically saying he doesn't want to come down. So it's like, here we go. Like, here comes the cringiness. I don't hate this track. It sounds good drum-wise and guitar-wise, but overall, the lyrics throw me off a bit. But it's good for what it went for, just not my personal cup of tea. So 4.5 out of 5. Then comes the closing track, The Beautiful Dark of Life. And this is an alright track. Well, it's a pretty good song, I meant to say. I'm getting my ratings mixed up because I'm hearing background noise in the background. But yeah, The Beautiful Dark of Life is a well executed track. I like the lyrics where it mentions a torch in the dark, the hope of a spark, the moment you find your flame. Sounds really well executed with how they made this track, and this is probably the best closing track I've listened to for an Atreyu album. So basically 5 out of 5. So overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, what do I think of Atreyu's new album? I think it's average. It's a little weaker than Baptize. I didn't hate Baptize, but this one did have some good moments through it, but it's not a bad listen. It's average. So it will be on my decent to good albums of 2023. That video is coming out soon very soon. But overall, if I were to give this album an overall score, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. The production is pretty strong, but it's overall the execution for certain tracks like Capital F, God Devil, Come Down. Those were mostly the ones, and I didn't say I hated I Don't Wanna Die, but it's probably a little bit of a highlight for this. I would say Capital F, God Devil, Dancing with My Demons, and Come Down. And sorry about the background noise, my nephew is throwing a fit. Those were the ones that I had some issues with, but I didn't hate the tracks. Mostly Capital F and God and Devil were the weakest. But the other two I mentioned were alright, but could have, well, done a little better. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Atreyu, A Beautiful Dark of Life, The Beautiful Dark of Life, for their new album. Thank you for watching this album review today.